This time, we're going to talk about something that has been requested in the comments and emails for a while now. In the US, Elon Musk is executing government slimming down, which has caused quite a stir. Many people are interested in what information there might be regarding USAID and its connection to China. So, let's briefly discuss what's happening in America right now, what USAID is, and then touch on what's being said about its relation to China. First off, many of you probably know that the Trump administration has tasked Elon Musk with slimming down the government. What they're saying is not only about USAID but also about dismantling other agencies like the Consumer Protection Bureau. They've already started executing this policy. What's impressive is that rather than just evaluating which parts of USAID are necessary or unnecessary, they're talking about completely dismantling the organization. Why dismantle it entirely? Because if you start discussing which parts are necessary and which aren't, you'll never reach a conclusion. The organization will always claim that every part of their operation is essential. So, by dismantling it from the ground up, they're not just talking about it, they've already begun. This is an incredible change in America, and I think this is what democracy looks like. USAID isn't just active in America, it operates in 150 countries worldwide. When you look up how many countries there are, it's 196, so they're active in almost every country. Among their activities, there's gender equality promotion. In some countries, there's a significant gender disparity. For instance, in China, women aren't treated as humans in some respects. If USAID were focusing on promoting gender equality in such places, that would be understandable. But they're also promoting LGBTQ+ equality. I hadn't heard of the plus or 9 in the acronym before, but now they're even dealing with transgender issues abroad while there's criticism in the US about using public funds for such causes domestically. This has led to criticism because within USAID, there's a structure where money flows into such initiatives. Instead of just cutting out the bad parts, there's talk of completely destroying the organization. This would mean organizations receiving funds from USAID would be in big trouble since their funding source would disappear. Another issue is that media outlets are also receiving money from USAID. If media in foreign countries or even in the US accept government money, their ability to critique the government diminishes, and they might even start to write articles that align with the government's agenda. If Trump were to become president, those whose interests would be threatened might start spinning narratives that Trump is a bad person. Media receiving government funds should not happen, especially not from foreign governments, but even domestically, this shouldn't be allowed, though it's happening in America. The democratization process now involves dismantling this symbiotic relationship between government and media, which is what democracy should look like. Those not part of this benefit-sharing community are frustrated, leading to support for the Trump administration and the Republicans. Not everyone in America supports Trump 100%, but the opinions of those who don't support him are magnified, painting him as more of a villain than he might be. Trump, when viewed humanely, isn't a perfect person, but perhaps that's what a politician should be. However, the facade of good politicians might hide similar or worse behaviors behind closed doors. Bringing this back to USAID, which has become too large, they're in the process of being dismantled. USAID was originally created in 1961 during the Kennedy administration, during the Cold War when there was fear of countries turning communist. The purpose was to support developing countries to prevent them from becoming communist. But after the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, USAID's purpose shifted, focusing more on extending American influence rather than just countering communism. Organizations often expand beyond their initial purpose, leading to activities like supporting foreign LGBTQ rights, which has upset many Americans. Now, with the dismantling of USAID under Trump, there's debate about how this benefits China. Several media outlets argue that dismantling USAID only helps China expand its influence. For instance, The Guardian has articles stating that current US actions are a boon for China. Similarly, Al Jazeera reports that dismantling USAID leads to increased Chinese influence. Even in Japan, Professor Hamarendo writes about how this might please Xi Jinping. However, Trump's administration isn't just pulling back, they're likely to use different, more direct means to counter Chinese influence. For example, in Panama, after joining China's Belt and Road Initiative, they quickly backed out with Trump's election, showing there are other ways to manage China's expansion. In conclusion, dismantling an organization like USAID, which was necessary in the 1960s, might be essential for adapting to today's global situation. This kind of turnover in America could be seen as a healthy aspect of democracy. Despite negative views on Trump in Japan, this reflects a broader frustration with entrenched interests, not just Trump's policies. This story isn't just about Trump, it's about necessary change that could eventually influence similar reforms in Japan. That's it for this video, see you in the next one.